What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Breath of Adventure. Today we are talking how crucial it is to be wearing the proper boots while you're out riding on adventure. So make sure to stay to the end to find out why. So boots are one of the most crucial parts of off-road riding. And when it comes to dual sport riding, we really don't know when we're going to be on the road, when we're going to be on the gravel, or we're going to be on the trail. Footwear is number one for so many reasons, and most people learn the hard way. They're not wearing the proper footwear, they have an accident, they break an ankle or a leg, and then they are like, what boot should I be wearing? Which boot should I be wearing? So today I want to go over the importance of footwear, the protection that it gives you, and a range of things that you should and shouldn't wear. Starting on this side is what we don't want to be wearing, and on this side is what we want. Sandals is something that you would probably see when you're in Central America. A lot of people are wearing sandals. I've seen people barefoot on motorcycles. This is something you want to avoid. Zero protection from road rash, zero protection from the elements, and this is just a no-go. Skate shoes. Okay, all of us have ridden a bike down the road with a regular pair of shoes on. Doesn't feel the greatest. It's not that smart. You have no ankle support from road rash. If you go down, you're gonna scrape up, smash your ankle bones, and probably have a break. Moving up, we have a steel toe work boot with a shank. If I'm just ripping down the road to get something from the store, get eggs, go to a friend's house, I don't mind wearing these. If this is what I have on and I know it's quick and easy on the road, I will just ride in a work boot. But again, not the greatest protection. Moving up a level is, these are the Revit Scout H2Os. So this is a riding specific boot which covers the ankle, doesn't have any support this way. And these are, you know, a boot that I'll wear if I just go for a day cruise. I'm not going off-road, I'm just sticking to the pavement. Usually I try to throw these on all the time, even if I'm going to a friend's house just for a little bit of a boot. This is the boot that I wear. Moving into my everyday boot is the Tech 7. This is what I wear riding on adventure all the time. I do not go off-road unless I have these boots on. You never know when you're gonna slip and need to use your foot to pogo yourself back up. You don't know what kind of terrain is gonna be hitting you, such as when I was riding in the woods last weekend due to the storm. I had multiple branches flicking up and hitting the bottoms of my boots. The reason why I'm sticking with the Tech 7s, and as you can see, these nice new white ones, is I've got a wider footbed, and these ones seem to fit a wider foot very well. The Tech 7 is like, it's kind of a mid-range stiffness, so this boot is still comfortable enough to wear long distance. It's still comfortable enough to use as an adventure boot, you know, getting off, walking around, setting up camp. Usually I bring 2 sets of footwear if I'm camping, but these will work. The other awesome thing about the Alpine 7s is that you can get different versions. You can get the Enduro boot, which has a grippier sole on the bottom. You can get the Dry Star version, which they say is a waterproof boot, or you can just get the OG original Tech 7. The reason I didn't go with the Dry Star boot, I considered it, was I read a lot of reviews of how hot the boot is in the summertime. Because it is, so they say, waterproofed, there's no ventilation. Your feet will sweat like crazy and be soaking wet with sweat, so I avoided it. I ended up ordering these off a Canadian site for 40% off. So as you can see, I haven't even broken them in yet. I've been still rocking the old ones. And the reasoning why I went with the original Tech 7 versus the Enduro was purely because of budget. They were such a good deal. They had my color, they had my size. You know, it would be nice to have the Enduro sole, but the thing with Tech 7 is you can have the soles replaced. You could have this sole taken off and put an Enduro sole on it. That's a cool thing about Tech 7 is they do offer replacement soles. They're in a mid-range budget, so they're not super high expensive $900 boots, but they're not also cheap, no-name, low-entry boots at $200. I think they range around, let's say, $400 Canadian. These boots are easy to find secondhand because they're so well used and popular that you can find these boots used. As you can see, these are my current older boots. These are only about 1.5 years old, but they're completely shot, and I'll show you more about that later. And as you can see here, nice shiny white, brand new ones. Now, these are actually a 2022 model that were on a discount. I got them for 40% off. So I paid about the same price for these brand spanking new as I'd paid for these off of Marketplace secondhand. Something to be aware of when it comes to buying an older boot. And some of the content I make is around, budget adventure riding, and buying a used boot is sometimes the only option that we have. It's what fits the budget. These boots, it's hard to see, but they are red, gray, and black. Right away within the first season of riding, within the first couple months, I'd noticed the plastic on the top starting to crack. And I started doing some research. I started digging into some forums, and it took a while, but I did find one post talking about the Tech 7 boots that are colored. Other than white and black, they come in yellow, green, red, multiple different colors, but the plastic components have a shelf life. And because these were a few years older, as soon as I started riding and flexing them, it started to crack the plastic. And as you can see, and I'll do a close-up here soon, I'm missing a crucial part of protection across the top of the boot. It had just fallen right off. Both sides, it fell off. You can see the gray material is starting to flake off on the sides here. It still has the leather underneath, but they are deteriorating. They do say that moving into the white and the black boot, people haven't had a problem. So I've always wanted white boots. I love white boots, even though they get dirty. But the white or the black, they say, is the best. So if you're looking for a boot that's going to last you a long time, I would choose either the white or the black. The importance of having in my opinion, a full motocross boot while dual sport adventure riding is to protect your feet in all circumstances and all environments. So when we're riding on the pavement, we get in an accident, we have full ankle and foot support. When we transition to riding onto gravel and onto the trails, not only does it give us protection in the ankle and the foot, we get a little protection from the elements, we get protection from crashes, and we just have that overall level of support. But we also have protections from our feet getting impaled. There's some nasty videos out there of a guy riding too close to the edge of the trail, and he was wearing a full boot, but he had his entire foot impaled by a stick on the side of the trail. One of the reasonings why I'm hardcore on having proper footwear is an experience when I was younger racing motocross. I was on a practice track that was new to me. I had done my minimum 4 sight laps to get familiar with the track. Now the problem was there was 2 very similar features in the middle of the track with similar corners leading into them. One was a table, one was a double. When I came around on my 5th lap, I got them mixed up. I thought I was coming up to the tabletop, and I knew if I was a little shy on speed, I could have come up a bit short and just bounced off the flat and then onto the landing. As soon as I took off the lip of the jump, I realized I was on the double. It was about 55, 60 feet. I knew I wasn't going fast enough. I came down and cased right off the crest on my frame. 0 suspension. My legs took the full impact and my leg blew apart. I broke the tibia and the fibula bones. The reason I'm telling this story is the importance of the protection of a motocross boot. If I wasn't wearing a good solid boot, I probably would have had a compound fracture, which would have been way worse. That's when the bone ejects out of the skin. You can lose blood. It's just a way messier scene. So my boot kept everything contained, allowing me to easily get to the hospital and go into surgery. That gave me 2 plates and 15 screws, and yeah, it was quite the recovery journey as a younger man. A lot of people talk about, should I get an ADV boot, adventure boot like the Formas, or should I get a motocross boot? I've read many reports of people breaking ankles and feet wearing those ADV boots. They're too soft. They don't have any side support. They are very soft. They are leather. They're basically leather, and they don't have any plastic reinforcement. People learn the hard way. They buy those boots because they're more comfortable. They're easier to walk around in. When we're on adventure, we might be going into the store to get groceries. We might be building camp. We might go into the restaurant. It's nice to have a comfortable boot to walk in on, but I'm not willing to jeopardize my ankles for that. I am an advocate that if you are adventure riding and you are getting off the beaten trail, to go with a full supported motocross boot. Don't learn the hard way. Just deal with the discomfort of walking around in a stiff boot in the grocery store. Nobody cares anyways. You're in full gear. People know that you're riding. So whatever. I hope you enjoyed this episode on the importance of proper footwear for adventure riding. Make sure to protect your feet, protect your ankles, have the proper boot on while you're on adventure. If you like this one, give me a thumbs up, drop me a comment on your experience with boots, and make sure you live to ride another day. We'll see you in the woods.